we're currently less than 2 weeks away from the huge cycling challenge that is the Rysel Andorra race. Training for the challenge is currently in full swing, and in this video I wanted to go through a week of training, go through each of the days of the week and show you the different training programs that I'm doing. So hopefully you can get a bit of an idea of how the training is progressing and to show you the different types of training that I'm going to be doing. Today is Tuesday, of course that means yesterday is Monday. Monday is my weekly rest day, so I didn't do any riding yesterday. The Sunday before the rest day I did a 4-hour ride with quite a bit of climbing, so yesterday was a well-needed rest day. Today we've got a indoor session. We're simulating a hill climb, so I'm going to get set up and get on the bike shortly to do that. Got to also bear in mind that I'm doing this with a full-time job and a family to look after as well, so you know I can't spend hours and hours on the bike, so yeah, my time training is limited. So hopefully this is a bit of a realistic look into training. So first session up this week is the hill climbing session that we're going to do on my Wahoo. The whole idea for this training block is to try to build my threshold, to develop the threshold so that I can sit at threshold for longer. I'm hoping that the training program is going to help develop that. I feel like it has already to a certain extent. But yeah, today we're going to be doing the hill climbing session. There's a big old chunk at 250 watts in the middle for about 10 minutes, so that's going to be a nice bit of threshold development. Into the 10 minutes block at threshold now. 250 watts. It's nice and sweaty. It's the session done. Just on the cool down. A couple of minutes of cool down and then we're finished. Just about an hour of riding. Nice little hill climb session. Brutal one. Top one. Oh yeah, happy to get it done when we start the week. Let's go. Alright, so it's currently Wednesday, and after yesterday's interval session, today we have just an easy 1-hour recovery ride on the cards. So yeah, just mooching about really on the bike, not trying to hit any power, any specific power, just trying to ride, enjoy being outside for a little bit. And yeah, just get an hour of miles in basically. So I've just started my hour. It's about 5:30 in the afternoon, which is not ideal. I'm not a huge fan of doing exercise in the evening. I find that the working day just drains me and I don't have the energy or the enthusiasm to get out and do some exercise. So I much prefer to get out on the bike in the morning or lunchtime if possible, but today was a super busy day, so I didn't find the time to squeeze the hour in, which is why we're going out now. Alright, that's Wednesday's session done. Did just over an hour, average power of 125, so yeah, happy with that, nice and easy. Nice little spin out on the bike, but yeah, I'm starting to feel very hungry now because I haven't eaten since lunch, so gonna get some dinner on and then rest up for tomorrow's session. Alright, ready for another day of training. Today is Thursday and it's actually the Queen stage of the Tour de France happening today, so we'll be able to watch that later. But first we've got an hour to do on the indoor bike, which I have set up on the balcony. I'm doing a 40-20s into threshold session, so 40 seconds at above threshold, 30 seconds just below, repeated 4 times, and then you go into 10 minutes of threshold work. with a rest and then do that set again. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a tough one, but thankfully it's a bit cooler today. A bit cloudy, a little bit cooler. So yeah, let's get on, let's do the hour and then we can chill. So we're starting to build some fatigue in the legs through all the training this week. So legs are still feeling okay, but just doing the warm up now and you can feel that they don't feel super fresh, ready to get going. A little bit of fatigue in there, but we find once we get the warm up done. I'm a big fan of this session in particular, the 40-20s where you do 40 seconds over threshold and then 20 seconds under. The 20 seconds is just under threshold, so it's not really like a recovery period, but it works really well because you build up the lactate in the 40 seconds where you're over threshold, and then your body is learning to recover from the lactate buildup while you're still riding at almost threshold level. So perfect for what I need for the ride in Andorra, because I'm going to be sitting at that just sub threshold area for quite a while. I'm going to have to spike into the red when the climbs get steeper, so I really need to be able to clear out lactate and recover up from that sub threshold level rather than having to drop lower down to recover, if that makes sense. Sweaty now. Right, that's another day done. Alright, it's 5 PM on a Friday, just finished the working week and it's time to head out on the bike. On the menu today is a pretty simple one, about an hour of zone 1, zone 2, easy riding. Just a nice chilled little ride. I'm going to meet a mate for it so we can have a little chat and keep it social and nice and easy. So yeah, pretty straightforward really. It's time to get on the bike and let's get this done. Friday session done. I think we did just under 50 minutes, so not quite the full hour, but it's really hot and really windy out there and the roads are pretty busy, so I thought I've had enough. We'll call it a day and then try and do a little bit extra tomorrow. So we're now on to Saturday and today has not gone well at all. Here's the bike. I'm supposed to get out for about an hour and a half of zone 2 riding today. But my mechanic friend came round and we decided to put a new chain on the bike, which we've done. So I've upgraded to a SRAM Force chain there, which has gone okay. And then we also realized that the rear brake pads needed to be replaced. So we took those out, put the new ones in, realized that the piston here was not returning to its correct position. So, and the lever was spongy, so basically decided to bleed the brakes. He's a mechanic, so he knows what he's doing. I have no idea what I'm doing, so I just let him get on with it. But we realized that this bleed screw has been somehow stripped a little bit. And I don't know how, because I don't think either of us have ever touched it. But basically we can't do anything with that screw, so we need to find a replacement for this screw, which basically means that I can't ride the Van Rysel until Monday when the bike shops are back open again. It basically means that we're going to have to ride the Canyon today. It's now 4 PM and I've not done our ride yet, so it's going to have to be an evening ride. We've got to let the sun go down a little bit because it's baking hot right now. And then we've got the long ride, supposed to be about a 4-hour ride tomorrow morning. which I was hoping to use the RCR for, but I'm gonna have to use my old Canyon Endurace instead, just to get the miles in. And then Monday we're gonna have to get this guy fixed ahead of the event the following weekend. So cutting it fine, hopefully we can get a solution for it. Bit of a headache and yeah, really frustrating, but what can we do? Alright, so it's been a bit of a hectic Saturday, and yeah, in the end I'm just going to do an indoor ride. I've got the bike set up here. Just going to do about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. It's almost 7 o'clock in the evening, so yeah, way too late to be going out on the road for me. I just can't be bothered to face the evening traffic and everything around here. So I'm going to do the trainer session and then get ready for tomorrow's ride. That's the session done, about an hour and 20 minutes in the end. Happy to get it done even though it's pretty late in the day, but sometimes gotta do what you gotta do. Alright, now time to rest up, get some dinner and get ready for tomorrow morning. Alright, so it is Sunday morning, last training session of the week. Waiting for my mate to pick me up in his car, and we're going to drive down to the next town over and then start the ride from there. So got the bike ready to go. Hopefully going to be more than 100k, about 4 hours of riding today. So yeah, nice big session to end the week, and then we're 1 week now away from the big race, so yeah, getting pretty close. That's the Sunday ride done. In the end we did 120 kilometers and just under 1600 meters of elevation, so yeah, really nice long training ride. I think it was about 4 hours and 40 minutes of moving time, so pretty decent ride. I think we're pretty much prepped now for the big ride on the weekend. What did the full week actually look like? So this was actually one of my biggest weeks of training so far. So I did 270 kilometers in total on the bike, which included 2,400 meters of elevation, and ended up being just under 10 hours of training throughout the week. So pretty big week by my standards. It was also a total of 6,240 calories burned across the week. So yeah, super happy with the training this week. Next week's going to be taper week, so going to be more recovery rides, more recovery days as well, and then we get ready for the big ride on Sunday. So hopefully nice and chilled week, and let some of the training adaptations come into the legs before we go to the race on Sunday. We still need to sort out the bleed screws on the Van Rysel, but hopefully we can get that done. Well, yeah, thanks for watching. Stay tuned to the channel to see the video that's coming out for the big race. Bye.